At the Team Automotive Group, we make it easy for you to buy here or sell here. Buy here and save on hundreds of certified and pre-owned vehicles. Or sell here while your vehicle is worth more than it ever has been, and we'll pay you top value. Buy here or sell here at the Team Automotive Group.
That would be concerning and maybe set a precedent moving forward.
If you have plans to be outside, you might hit a couple of these little passing showers.
A drug bust and a few arrests made. Look at what they hauled in here. What's up? Morning, everybody. Welcome to WAFB Plus and 9 News Now every Monday through Friday, whether you like it or not, at about 7:02.
And I figure this Monday through Friday seemed like it's pretty rainy, but I tell you, on this Thursday morning, the sun has come up, and so far it's been dry.
You know, it has. In our little part of the world, it certainly has. When you look at radar, and Steve does that every morning for us, you see the whole state map, and man, they were getting it up like the Shreveport area, and they actually got to worry about a lot of rain up there. But what about, to your point, our part of the world starting off dry, clouds are coming, it's probably a precursor of what we could see a little bit later.
How about we check in with Dr. Steve Caprata for a full look at our Thursday forecast. Hey, Steve, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, Matt was mentioning rain up around Shreveport. We're keeping an eye on that because this disturbance is what's expected to lead to pretty good rain chances locally later on. And in fact, flash flood warning now up around Shreveport with heavy rain coming down this morning. As we come in closer, though, on our First Alert radar network, we are all dry. I think for probably at least the next couple of hours should be mainly dry. Here's a live look at that shot once again from on top of Our Lady Lake. Some of those clouds starting to move overhead, a little sunshine filtering through. Warm, humid once again. Most of us in the low to mid 70s. Baton Rouge 73, Hammond 72, Gonzales starting out at 74 degrees. By noon today, I've got rain chances around 30%. Temperatures in the low 80s, and those rain chances will climb this afternoon into this evening. A 60 to a 70% chance with your high temperatures topping out in the mid 80s. All right, let's give you a look at future radar. So again, kind of focused in on that cluster of storms up around Shreveport this morning. That disturbance is going to start dropping down to the east-southeast. Here we are at noon. A few showers and storms starting to bubble up locally. As we get into the afternoon, 3 o'clock, scattered storms showing up mostly north of the interstates, and then we see more storms developing through late afternoon into the evening. That's 6 o'clock. But again, note how much of the rainfall is coming down near and north of the interstates. South of I-10, your rain chances today will be lower, and then it's just going to be a matter of the trajectory that disturbance decides to take. Model runs are varying run to run. Does it kind of just continue eastward, or do we see some of the storms trying to drop a bit farther south? So it's not a super high confidence forecast, but we do feel that better rain chances will be focused near and north of the interstates today. A few strong storms not out of the question. And the Storm Prediction Center has locally pretty much all of us under a 1 out of 5 marginal risk of severe weather, damaging winds and hail, the primary concerns. The Weather Prediction Center also has from roughly New Orleans, Baton Rouge northward, a 2 out of 4 slight risk of flooding. So locally heavy rain could be in the mix in green. That's a 1 out of 4 marginal risk. So today's rain chances 60 to 70%. Again, best chances near north of the interstates. Tomorrow, still a 50% chance, highs in the upper 80s. And then a pattern change this weekend. It'll be drier. That also means hotter. Rain chances around 20% both Saturday and Mother's Day Sunday. Look at the highs. 90 Saturday, 91 Sunday. And then next week, looking like a summer-like forecast. Scattered, mainly afternoon storms each day. Highs in the upper 80s to near 90 degrees. Now 7:06 with a check on the roads for you. Here's Jerry.
Good deal, Dr. Steve. At least we are trending a little bit drier towards the Mother's Day weekend. This is trending a little bit slower on I-12 westbound at O'Neill going towards Millerville. You can see it really is slowing down there. There's about 4 or so miles of that, what we would consider stop and go traffic. I-10 at Washington stacking up a little bit, coming away or outbound, eastbound is looking a little bit slow as well. Meantime, I've highlighted that area on I-12 westbound. It's not this whole entire stretch right here. There's this one area where everything clears up. So it's basically 2 separate areas that slow down. But again, once you get past Millerville and go closer towards the downtown area, it looks like it starts to clear itself up. A little bit of stop and go for about a mile up 61 north of the Prairieville area. Going out towards Lafayette, you are good to go. And we had a little bit of a slowdown. It looks like that's starting to clear up on I-10 eastbound as you make your way over to LaPlace. The reason why I was highlighting that earlier is if you were going out to catch a flight over at Kenner, and it looks like that time time has actually dropped down. So that's really good news. That's pretty close to normal. It'll run you about an hour, maybe an hour and 5 to get out there, or maybe you're staying closer to home, catching a flight at BTR, less than 10 minutes from 110 North from the 10-110 split, going over towards Scenic as well. You are in good shape. Meantime, another drive time for you. This is over at LA1, which has been pretty good. So far, so good. Bruley up to 110 or I-10 will run you about 5 minutes normal for the average speed. Liz and Matt will send it back to you.
Not too bad for Thursday, Jared. Thank you.
Top headlines today. And actually, a couple of the top headlines are about things ending today. One thing that's ending, and it's been a part of our life for a few years now, the COVID-19 pandemic, the national emergency, that declaration officially ending today.
Big deal when we talk about how far we've come from COVID,
right? Yeah.
Right? March of 2020 is kind of when the whole world shut down. America closing its borders at that time. We still didn't know so much about this. Well, now doctors know a whole lot more about this.
Right.
And the number of people we're seeing with COVID cases, not gone entirely, but the number of cases we're seeing reduced dramatically. In fact, over at Baton Rouge General, Dr. Keith Kellum was saying that they've only been treating two COVID patients.
That's the entire system. Right? That's their entire system.
Wow.
And so Chief Medical Officer over there at the General. So you know he's seen a lot. He and his crew has seen a lot. All the hospitals have seen a lot. All these frontline folks have seen so much over the last few years. Now that we've gone from pandemic officially to endemic, we are still seeing a few issues here and there, but it is much more manageable. That's why the declaration is allowed to pass. Now, what does that mean for you? What if you get COVID still, which is possible? Well, what if you need a vaccine, that kind of thing? Well, depending on insurance or Medicare, Medicaid, do you have to pay? What does it cost? That's why Callie Hubbard had the conversation this morning. That's why it's right there waiting for you online.
Again, all of these big things are changing here, but just know that you still have access to these resources.
Yes, all of it.
You just talk to your primary care provider to find out exactly where you need these resources and how to get them.
So that's ending.
Yeah.
This is ending as well. Title 42. We've been talking a lot about this. This is the pandemic era immigration policy set up at the southern border to kind of better handle some of the issues when it comes to immigration during a medical emergency. That's ending today.
Yes, in just a few short hours now, Title 42 officially ending, but there are new immigration policies in its place. In fact, the Biden administration saying that people who are trying to cross the border, migrants, need to have had to at least apply for asylum online or apply for asylum through another country. If not, and they try to cross the border, there could be a 5-year ban from the United States, including a fine too. So still some different changes here when we talk about migrants trying to enter the border here, but another set of rules now in place to replace Title 42.
And so that's one of the big ones there a lot of folks talk about is the migrants having had to already request asylum through another country they've traveled through, because these are not just Mexican migrants coming in. These are South American, for instance, traveling through many different countries, and the United States wants to make sure that they've asked for asylum in some of these other countries they've traveled through before just arriving at the southern border of the United States and saying, I want asylum here. The process is still going to be in place for them to get asylum here. It's just going to take a little bit more. What does that mean? It's going to be a bit different. Certainly a bit different than we've seen in the last few years. It's going to be a big change. We'll see what it ends up looking like in the next coming days.
We'll follow those conversations and keep you updated.
Speaking of conversations, Governor John Bel Edwards set to talk a little bit about what's going on in the legislative session right now. Some big movements, some big pieces of legislation moving through. We're going to hear from him today about 4 o'clock.
We're expecting him to give us an update on what he thinks, on how he thinks this year's legislative session is going. Yesterday, obviously, a lot of eyes on the Capitol, a lot of people in committee rooms, especially as we heard on a number of abortion bills, including lawmakers deciding not to pass the bill here, adding rape or incest exceptions to the abortion law.
And that one was one, it wasn't even allowed to go to a full floor vote. That was not even allowed to make it out of committee, which I think really upset a lot of folks as well. Do we not even get to talk about this on the full floor? Committee saying no to rape and incest exceptions. So we'll see what the governor has to say today. We'll be there 4 o'clock. That's set for this afternoon.
Yes.
This is another big update right here as well. A coach at a high school in the East Baton Rouge school system no longer employed there.
Johnny, I believe.
Yeah, John, over at Estruma High School.
Yes. So yesterday, our I-team, actually, Johnny Butler is known as that teacher at Estruma High School. The I-team found a number of text messages between Johnny Butler and a female student alleging some kind of inappropriate relationship there. So now there is a warrant for his arrest, and he's supposed to turn himself in somewhat soon, we're expecting, but we're still trying to figure out exactly what happens from here. We know he's been fired. We know he's supposed to turn himself in, but how does it get to this point?
Right. So we'll keep that going for you. We'll keep you up to date on all of that. So this is what I need your eyes on this. A man accused of stealing guns during multiple burglaries. This is the Garden District of Baton Rouge.
Yeah. Police asking for you to keep a close eye out here. These pictures are actually pretty identifiable. If you're looking at security camera, you have a very clear picture here. Man has very identifiable jeans or pants there. If this man looks familiar to you, or maybe you've seen him wandering around the Garden District, well, Baton Rouge Police sure would like you to call in with tips because they believe he is tied to a number of gun thefts in the area.
You're right when you say these pictures are really, really good. I think we've shown, and everybody at home has shown, that Crime Stoppers work, so make that phone call, huh?
That's it.
Let's turn things around, put a smile on the face. Get ready to turn the tassels. It's almost graduation time for some folks.
Hey now, Southern University about to graduate.
That's right.
Nearly 600 Jags tomorrow.
That's right.
Just a heads up, if you are making your way, you know a loved one that's graduating tomorrow, you don't need a ticket to attend tomorrow's graduation, but seating there at F.G. Clark Activity Center is going to open up at 9 a.m. The ceremony starts an hour after.
Fran Uo, by the way, graduating some like 150 plus on Saturday as well, so congratulations to them all. So from Southern to Fran U to LSU, they got graduation coming up as well. We'll talk about that. But the LSU women's golf team, surviving, if you will, the regionals to play another day. They're going to go on to the NCAA championships.
How about it? Just 24 hours ago, we were talking about they got a long road ahead of them. Well, they did it.
We'll see. We'll see. I know Steve, big time golfer. Jared, do you golf? Are you a golf fan?
Somewhat of a golf fan. I'm not very good at it. I'm more of a driving range guy, so you can be remarkably horrible and still be okay.
Yeah, so he's a top golf kind of guy.
Yes.
It's more of my pace too. I like getting out there. I'm not very good at it. It's hard. It's one of those things.
It is hard.
You got to play like all the time. It's kind of like tennis too.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, from water hazards and sand traps to weather hazards, and today may not be a good day for golf.
Yeah, it's really going to depend on where you are. Now, think through the morning hours, relatively quiet, but this afternoon, pay closer attention. Better storm chances near and north of the interstates, so keep an eye on it. We'll be here tracking it through the day. Keep our First Alert weather app handy as well.
We'll have updates throughout the day. In fact, in 10 minutes, join Matt, Jared, and Steve for another update on news, weather, and traffic. We'll see you then. Have a great rest of your day.